que va a estar traduciendo, o sea que para que estén pendientes, él va a estar seleccionando las preguntas y las respuestas de lo que vamos a estar hablando. Just for you guys to know, we have a translator in the chat, so everything you say will be translated right away in the chat. That way they can actually read what you're saying. So let me just ask Billy. You've worked in the industry in different studios and projects for almost 20 years now. What has been the biggest evolution in game development during that time?
Accessibility.
And you can all feel free to like jump in and comment on these answers.
Yeah, I really feel like, I mean, specific to what I do, I think motion capture and the usage of motion capture has been, one of the biggest things that has evolved. When I started, we didn't even have mocap, but I also believe just for gaming in general, the focus on accessibility and the advances that have been made there has been the biggest change that I've seen over the past 20 years.
Felix, back in August, we spoke about the impact of COVID on indie development. Now that a couple of months have passed, do you believe the way the industry has adapted will have an impact, like a lasting impact on game development?
I mean, I guess I can only speak for indie. I would invite the AAA people to maybe chime in for AAA in general, but I think for indie, it definitely will. I know a lot of small studios that have gone completely remote where they weren't before, and that's something it's a big commitment, right? And I think, it's plausible when you have 8 people or 10 people to keep that going and maybe even to see the benefits of it and the downside of it both, right? And to sort of weigh that. But I do think a lot of different studios are opening up to the concept of remote work and maybe even working across time zones in a way that they weren't before, which hopefully brings more talent from more places in. Like, hopefully we're able to see that as a good thing and start to bring in talent from not just our immediate, city or neighborhood. We are able to sort of, or ask people to move, we're able to sort of reach outside of that and see talent in other places. But we'll see. I mean, that's all the like really positive version of what the answer could be. So I'm going to stick with that right now. I think there are a lot of other answers I could give, but that one I'm hoping is the thing that we take away from this, the ability to really invite new talent in via flexibility. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say as somebody who works at a studio who's gone totally remote and has worked with teams from different time zones before, like it's totally kind of interchangeable, at least from my perspective in the teams I worked on. It's just like what Felix was saying, I want to echo. I hope it's a really good opportunity for people to not have to move to get good jobs in games and stuff.
I feel like I can only speak about this anecdotally, but like on a broad scale, there are so many limits to getting into the games industry. I came from a city where it wasn't very big and was having to fly to Sydney all the time when I was in media to be able to talk about this stuff. And it's been very nice to see the steps we've taken in the direction of having the industry be more accessible to a lot of different people just by virtue of this happening. But obviously, like, I definitely know this from talking to people in the AAA space, that there are tremendous challenges, security challenges. Definitely, it's very, very complicated. And I feel like it's like everyone's been learning over the course of the past 12 months how to make video games remotely, which, we'll probably see how much of an impact that has kind of next year. I feel like that probably had a big impact on Halo Infinite. So definitely ups and downs, but you're absolutely right to lead with the positive there, that this is something that is very cool for anyone who's felt like they can't get into the industry because they don't live in the right place. So that's a win.
Yeah. I actually think as somebody that's been in the industry for so long, a positive has been kind of like this shakeup where all of a sudden it's not routine. I mean, nobody will ever say that making any single game is like a routine, but like you start to feel like, oh, I know, here's where we are here, here's where we are here. And for us, like in production, we're at a spot was very familiar to everybody, and then all of a sudden this happens and we go remote from home, and it's like all of a sudden we're doing something almost historical. Like, we've never done this before. We've never shipped a game while we work from home. So it was actually kind of like a good like wake up and a reminder that we're always having to grow in games. That's actually the thing that brings us to it.
And I think we're really fortunate too in that we can be an entertainment industry where we don't necessarily need to be sitting next to another person to continue our job. Like I have friends that work in LA in, TV and other media forms, and they've been hit really hard. And, I think for us in the game industry, we're super lucky that we're already used to working with technology, used to communicating over the internet, and being close in that regard has really helped us create the games in a different kind of space.
Also, they're selling so well. There is something about that feels a little bit weird about Animal Crossing did so well this year.
I mean, even the game we're playing right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, I think that's actually an interesting point too, is that I think that we just named Animal Crossing and Among Us. Like those are both social games. And I think that I, at least anecdotally, have turned a lot more to social games and multiplayer games than I normally do. Like I would almost completely play single player experiences. And now it's just like, I absolutely look forward to having even just the interaction of knowing that there's another human behind the avatar moving it across the screen, It's big. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've never played this much multiplayer games in my life.
I think so.
I used to be a loner.
Yeah.
I love going on my own pace, but now I want to play every single multiplayer there is. Just to hang out and have friends with me.
And also from the content creation side of things. For us also discovering games like this where you can actually share with an audience or share with other content creators has been amazing. And I think even though we had those options before the pandemic, this has actually pushed us toward a lot of experiences that we might have looked over. Okay, Sefi, do we go ahead?
Okay, I'll send the code again.
I will not read it out loud.
Yeah, right.
I will find where to put it. Yes, I did.
I'm like a toddler. I always read things out loud as I'm that guy in the car that's always reading signs,
Thank goodness I'm not the only one.
Yeah, just God.
Okay.
So, yeah, I almost
want to read it out loud so bad.
I almost did.
The fact everyone's saying it made me almost read it out loud.
It does seem like it would be a fun thing to say out loud. That's the problem.
I know, it's hard.
Wait.
Oh, it looks so cute.
Oh, there we
Super
are.
cute. We're here in real life.
Wait.
Thankful this thing is cross-platform.
Here we go.
I actually don't understand how Alana can do 2 streams at the time. I just went to your channel and it's you're having an actual stream.
Yeah, it's
down.
Well, I'm also streaming on Twitch and on YouTube, which is just my stream. And it basically people are like, how do you manage those chats? But it just combines them all in one chat. So to me, it just looks like one.
That's cool.
They are complaining that I need to increase my voice volume though, so I've been working on figuring out how to do that for the last.
Go ahead.
Apparently, I'm too quiet.
So we are playing on a map that I've never played before. Just FYI.
Oh, same.
Okay.
How can you even tell?
Perfect.
Estefi, cambia
The more chaotic, the better.
Yeah, let's level the playing field
A
here.
juego.
Sí.
Pero se va a ver el código. Igual, no importa.
No importa, ya estamos todos adentro.
Okay.
Okay, so no way. Okay.
It's getting mad at us now.
I was just gonna start.
We were very active. We were all running around.
Okay.
That one wasn't even that long.
It's okay. Let me do this again.
Test.
Let's
Audio,
make
audio,
it a
audio,
room
audio.
code that's not as fun to say out loud.
Okay, I'll do that. This
Thank
one
you.
is really lousy. Look at it.
Okay,
Wait.
good.
Okay, here we go.
I'm excited.
That's my
Let's
dog.
not.
Ok, gente, recuerden que pueden seguir donando. Estamos a menos de 200 y pico de la meta. Por favor, sigamos donando, que toda esta gente está donando su tiempo y experiencia para compartir con ustedes, pero con el ánimo de que logremos la meta. Okay, desafortunadamente cometí el error enorme de que no puse la barra en este overlay, así que en el chat les van a estar informando cómo van los montos, así que ayúdenos a llegar a la meta de 3.500.
Ok, tenemos que empezar porque ni bestia me voy a volver a quedar afuera de este salón, ¿ok?
Yeah, you tell
There was
them.
Spanish for this game that started.
Finally.
You got it.
Okay.
I just like the
Steffi, you
sass in
can-
that.
you
I'm
can
like,
go ahead.
yes.
Oh no, I don't know everyone's Twitter handles.
I kind of feel like I'm in trouble.
Oh,
Steffi,
here.
you have to,
I can add someone here.
Cambia a
What?
lobby y dale play.
What?
Cambia
Ah,
a,
lobby.
cambia a lobby, no, perdona, juego, y tiras el juego y le das play.
Juego. A start. We're starting. Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous about the game.
I'm excited.
I'm gonna
Okay,
pour
but we
my-
are not
Three,
muting or
two.
deafening, right?
My god.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
This is gonna be really
We're gonna
hard.
control ourselves.
Okay.
Who wants to be my friend? Everyone, right?
Oh my god. Oh no.
So I just
Okay,
want to
I'm
give
nervous.
everyone watching the context
Wait.
that we can all see each other's faces and hear each other the whole time.
Yeah, we
don't-
do.
Wait, I didn't see
And then
what.
I'm gonna
my role
ask
was.
the first question.
I don't
Okay.
know this map. I don't know this map.
Okay,
ah.
so
I like
Victoria,
literally 30
Huh,
seconds
yes, that's
figuring
me.
out how to move.
What?
Where am I?
I know
Oh,
you started at Inner Thought
map?
recently,
Yes.
but
Yes.
how have the
Hello.
team and the studio reacted and adapted to the game's success?
Well. Sorry, I'm like trying to do a task while I talk.
No, it's
I
great.
know,
That's
that's the
great.
idea.
That's
I'm like,
perfect.
well, yeah, no, it's honestly, I mean, the game has been out since 2018, right? And the success was really sudden. So I think it's one of those things where, honestly, as someone's dead.
2 people are dead.
I just found a dead body.
Okay. All right. Oh my goodness. Two.
Who?
So
Two
I'm,
already? Oh my god.
I'm in the very beginning. I just went to. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, it's me. Hello, I'm Kat. I called Body after I left the med bay and was going up in the hallway, and I saw David.
I don't know where Med Bay even is.
Med bay was like so right when we leave that intro place, it's like the
Okay.
first room to your right.
Okay, I went-
bottom floor.
I went like straight up. I went through the like vented hallway and I was up there
Same.
alone.
I was about to come up there, so I was in, I
Yeah.
was in the vented hallway, and because I have 2 tasks up there, but I have no idea where. That's like there's like a. It's
I
like
was
a
sorting
teaser.
rocks or
Okay.
something. I don't
Did
know.
you vent
I
into
was-
the hallway?
That plan.
I was doing the leap thing, and Steffi was in with me, and I was trying to answer the question.
I feel like I saw, I think, Kat get, did you get body scanned?
I did, yes.
So I feel
And
like I
tried to
saw
get
that.
scanned twice.
Yeah, which I
'Cause you
think
did
clears
see
Kat.
that.
Yeah.
We did see Kat get body scanned.
Well, I didn't, I mean, I at the very least I saw Kat stand on the scanner.
Okay.
I didn't
Yeah, I
actually.
saw her when I was
check.
going to the plant place. Was it plants?
Yeah, it was like leaf blowing.
Wow, we saw it.
This is a bunch of pros. Lobby full of pros.
I don't know. I didn't see anything. I can't really be very much help
we
right
can
now.
skip this time if we're not feeling like pretty certain.
Oh,
with the
wow.
Oh, interesting.
organization.
Let's
Felix
just
really
skip
wants to
this.
Wait, yeah.
Marlo. No, I'm just kidding.
Felix,
Where was
really
David's body?
Let's skip.
Okay, skipping.
Wait,
I said we
what?
skip.
I know. I'm
Skip.
gonna skip. I'm gonna
Okay,
skip.
fine.
It's
skipping.
too early to know.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't believe 2 people died already. That's really scary.
Well,
I'm
we
kinda
I know.
concerned, And if I
imposters,
die,
right?
I did
if
not
I
see
die,
that
it's
coming.
Marlo. So.
No, it's not.
Okay,
It's not.
so in this version of the game,
Oh.
dead people that can actually speak because I have to keep asking questions even though you killed
True.
them
Yes.
right
Okay.
away.
That
I'm
checks
sorry.
out.
So,
I didn't answer the
Vic, you were
question.
saying. Do you want me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Okay, it's basically how the studio has reacted to the reception of the game, and how
Right.
the studio adapted too.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that's interesting about it is that, well, one, they've realized they need to expand, so they hired me on to be the community director, which means like they had a lot of trouble, I think, just keeping up with everyone and seeing what everyone was saying about the game. So I sort of am taking on that role. They are taking on a bunch of contractors to help them out. And honestly, I think one of the biggest things is that they have been working on this game like since it's come out and improving it and all that. So I think they're really just sticking with that kind of ethos and making sure that the game is fun, but also tackling the fact that with more players, you have a little bit of more, let's say like sometimes a little more toxic, a little bit more moderation that needs to happen in the game. So that's kind of the priority right now in terms of making sure the game is fun and welcoming for everyone.
Nice. Perfect.
I love that in a video game.
Truly.
So worried.
Okay, now I can do things.
So scared.
Wait, where's
I am
the?
so
I
bad
have
at
two.
I'm so bad at multitasking. I just realized.
know.
Oh, here.
Yes.
I thought I
Hey,
was
Marlo.
Yes.
What do I do on
When
this
you
one?
do an illustration, when you create a character, do you illustrate it with an idea of how exactly that character is going to animate, or are you surprised by the work of the animators?
Well, I tend to animate most of the stuff that I actually draw. So I do find that it's important for me to think about sort of like how things will animate while I'm drawing them and all of that. But I think that, emergency meeting. I'll finish that thought.
Meeting.
And I died in the Did you see how good that was? I died in the middle of talking and I didn't even let it slip.
I had
was
no
wow.
idea that you guys.
There you go.
That's some
very
poker
good.
face.
Who killed her while she's giving an answer? Like, yo, that's it.
That was cool.
Oh,
That's cold.
Steffi, let's hear it. What happened?
Well, I saw her tiny little dead body because she has two bodies. She has the big body and the tiny body, and I saw both bodies dead. It was so sad. So I went and I pressed the
No, it's
red
just
button.
Steffi. For sure, it's Steffi. I'm voting.
Oh, maybe
That's a solid vote if I've ever heard
Why
one.
do you hate me,
Wait, I
Felix?
did see Steffi
I'm
hanging
your
around
friend.
me. Steffi was hanging around me, but I was talking, and I think she was being really polite because I was still trying to answer a question.
Yeah.
But I
That's
saw her
right.
like hovering around my body.
I
How many,
haven't.
how many imposters are there? Are there two?
Two.
Wait,
Oh no.
wait.
So I'm with Felix. I'm with Felix in this room with like this kind of thingy.
Yeah, I actually don't know. I was doing
what
the
is this?
Simon
Oh
Says
my
puzzle,
gosh.
which is the worst when you're trying to focus, when you're trying to listen to someone and also do a Simon Says. Do not do that. That was bad. I don't know if I finished it or not. I got to the final one, but then emergency meeting was called. But
I
yeah,
have
we're
no
up.
idea
We're
what
up
I-
past in the reactor. That's where we are in the reactor.
That's what it is.
I did see you guys go in there when I left. I did.
Yeah,
witness
you were leaving,
Yeah, I
and it
remember
was me
seeing
and
you.
Man,
Marlo.
say something in Spanish. La gente del chat, dejen de poner mi nombre, okay?
I don't know what you said, but it was sassy.
Conmigo o no?
Yes.
It was sexy.
I'm gonna skip. I don't
Sexy.
feel like
It's
we have.
exhausting. It's so exhausting. I've never heard her say
And-
that sexy thing.
The worst part of it is that she was actually insulting the chat.
Nice.
Okay.
I think Steffi just got no one. Okay.
Split.
No one was rejected?
Well,
Thank
no one.
you.
I already voted.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, so Marlo, you were saying.
I'll finish that thought. Yeah, I
Okay,
think
reactor.
that
I need to go to the
I
reactor.
usually play double time. I do illustration and animation for the projects that I work on. So I do oftentimes have to think about animation when I'm designing a character. And for games especially, you have to think about things like, will this character be like swinging a huge sword or an axe or something? And that means their arms have to be long enough to go over their head and like all of that kind of stuff. So when I'm working on character design, I absolutely am trying to keep in mind sort of the practicality of how things animate as well as how they look good.
I knew it.
We got
I
guys.
called it. I called that.
This is such a hard way to play this game.
Yes.
I knew it.
Man,
Oh my gosh.
Self-supportive I've ever heard one.
The fact that you can't speak about anything that you're doing or show facial expressions is just utter chaos. My gosh.
I just want to say, like, I was
Horrible
the
for
first
me.
one to die,
Oh.
and I was
well, I
killed
was
by
the
my
first one to
mom.
die.
Oh.
Yes, I
Oh, you
killed.
were the first one?
Oh, I
I
accidentally
was
hit
the
exit.
first one to die. I couldn't even get out of the main room. I wasn't even out.
I'm sorry, you were just standing there, you know. I had to
I
go
was
for
waiting
it.
to be asked a question.
Okay,
Oh my
I'm trying
gosh.
to,
So
okay, I'm
nervous.
trying to tweet and more friendly.
What do we do? Play again?
Okay.
I need to not
yeah.
be.
I
I'm
like
just
was
waiting
so I was so split focus. I almost like didn't understand that it was Steffi who killed me, even though I saw it happen.
I've never played this game this
Sorry.
way. It's gonna be a learning experience for
Nice.
everyone. Very unique.
Okay, we're
My
waiting
tasks.
on 2 people right now, right?
But I'm not in anymore. It kicked me
Yeah,
out.
I'm
It
watching an
said,
ad right now.
Oh, okay. So we have to give you the new code. I'll give it to you right here.
Oh,
is there a new code?
It should just be the
I
same
think
code,
so,
right?
no?
Oh,
Oh, no,
I
it's the
thought-
same code. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It is the
let
same
me get
code.
back
It
in.
is the same
Let me get
code.
back in.
Unless
There
we
we go.
have a real imposter, and then I just
Oh, yeah.
I got this. I got this. It's
There
me.
you go.
There we go.
So, Steffi, you can throw it right away.
Okay. Please, God. Okay. Poker face. Everyone, poker face.
Listen, this is why I have this, so I can just hide behind it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I'm so scared.
Yeah, that's
I'm not
you're
even
very hidden, Felix, right now.
I can't. I can't believe you would suspect me in the first round. I was so upset
Okay,
with that.
Kat,
I know.
Yes.
what drew you to sound designing games instead of like film, TV, music industry? Like, why games?
Sure. Well, I really like that with games, it's a very interactive media. So like with movies and film, film and TV and other types of animation, it's very linear. So I really like the idea that like in games, you know, the way Felix will play, the way Victoria might play would be vastly different, and the way they might experience audio can kind of shift. Even though there's an overarching goal of what the soundscape should be like, everyone's experience is slightly different. So I really like that unique element of that.
Nice.
Very cool.
I don't know how to do
Alana.
this task.
Oh my god, how do I get in
There's
there?
a few that are scary.
I'm
Yeah.
going to put
Ah.
Alana's multitasking on.
Espérate.
Okay,
Wait,
so
how do I get
Alana,
in?
you've had one of the most diverse careers in the industry, but with a very clear goal on the long term that you have now accomplished. Have you had your steps drawn out to accomplish this, or you've kept adapting yourself to the opportunities that you've had in front of you?
My goals
Reactor
definitely
meltdown.
changed.
supposed-
So, you know, I've always loved writing and I've always loved video games. Those have been my 2 passions in life. So first it was games media, which still worked because I was a writer virtually my whole career there. So it was the same thing. And then that evolved into, as someone who's
Oh my
written
God.
like books and stories and stuff.
Sorry.
Whoop,
Oh,
I will pick that up.
You'll pick that up. You'll pick that up. You're doing great.
Where did that happen?
I feel like
God.
I'm killing every time.
Wait, what? What happened?
This is
You got
such...
murdered first again.
Nothing.
Hey, I found it in the like the corridor between like when you're trying to get to comms.
It has a
and
name,
sabotage.
Victoria.
Is it the like
What
airlock
is it
thing?
called?
Billy.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant the location.
No.
I was far left. I have no notes. I don't know what... Why is everyone
Sorry,
giggling?
no, I got- yeah.
Okay, so Alana and I were hanging out over in the bottom left, whatever that is. And Alana did not murder me this time, or last time, but did not murder me. So that's that's the only piece I have, is that
Yeah.
Alana did not murder me. Had ample opportunity.
I feel like I was walking towards there, but I saw like 5 people in the same spot. That's like.
So
the
I
only
was trying to
thing
get to the
remember.
reactor because apparently
Yeah, I
it's
was
on
too.
fire.
We should
Yeah,
probably look
that's
into
what I was
that.
aiming for.
Oh,
got
I have a med base scan if anybody wants to come watch me do it right after this.
Oh,
But that's all I got.
I'm on a platform. I'm on a platform, same, and I have no idea how to toggle it. I've been trying to press it for the past
Oh,
like.
I think you have to press space.
That's
You have
convenient.
to like press.
Oh,
the
but I'm
space
on an
button.
iPad,
Helix.
so there's no space.
Oh.
There's no space.
Oh.
Yeah, I've had that
That's what I'm
problem
saying.
before where I
That's
can't get the med bay to
suspicious.
work.
All
No,
right,
I've
we're
had
gonna
that
skip.
problem before.
This is
Yeah.
both the hardest
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
easiest way to play this game. I feel like we should maybe only have one imposter. Because I think the imposters are good. Because we're all so distracted.
Yeah,
Thank you,
But I want a
We'll
friend,
see-
like
we'll
if
see-
I'm an
we'll see how it goes.
imposter.
We'll see how it goes.
I agree
how
with
it
that
goes.
one.
Yeah, this is.
Okay, Alana, you were saying.
I was saying, yeah, I've written books and stories and stuff my whole life. And then when I was like, I think I want to get into writing video games, I basically have been doing that quietly, working on that for the last 5 years, technically. So that was really the goal. And I think that one of the biggest of many, of course, privileges that I am afforded is that I've always been a person who just knows exactly what I want to do, which I know a lot of people don't quite have a clear-cut path that way. It's very helpful that I'm like, well, here's what I want to do next, and here's what I want to do next. So I just look at the things that I think are needed for me to be able to do that thing and then work towards that. So yeah, I definitely feel like my whole career has been leading to the position that I am in now, which is video game writer at Santa Monica Studio, and it was certainly again, thanks to me just kind of knowing what I want, something that was I definitely knew the steps that I had to take also from talking to other people in the industry and all that, and had a lot of support. But I feel like is also a testament to how wonderful the industry is when it comes to like I was able to sit in a few writers' rooms to learn how some studios write video games, and I was able to write on some projects that didn't require me to have shipped a AAA video game. So there are a lot of different avenues to get into I guess game dev, and my path is one of them, and it's been a very exciting journey, and I hope to write many video games over the next however many years. Did I answer the question? I think I did.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you did.
Play them all.
So eloquent.
Billy, I'm gonna take advantage of your death to ask you a question.
Yeah, you would.
We got another death.
All my tasks are done.
Wouldn't be the first
Oh
time.
no, damn
Oh,
it. It was
good.
Felix, and I knew they were okay because I saw them scan.
Oh, no.
And they saw me scan, but they can't say that because they're dead.
Oh.
Convenient.
It was in the cafeteria. I didn't see anyone really walking from it, but I saw Victoria around it. I don't know.
That's good enough for me.
Spooky.
Right. Yeah.
We gotta start throwing him somewhere.
Yeah, I mean that's like the only thing I have to go off of, but I don't know.
I just voted for Victoria so we can get through with it.
Exactly. I feel like,
I don't know how to defend
we
myself.
could be wrong, but you gotta start making some moves. I will say David had opportunity to kill me and didn't, but also David is also distracted, so I don't know that clears anything.
I'm
that's
someone
Very
clear.
good at the poker face.
Yeah.
I always
I
think
am
it's
not
him.
good at poker face at all.
I'm with someone in the decontamination hallway. Who dat? Because
No idea.
they didn't kill me, so that's great.
It's the Saints. I see.
Who are we
Alright.
voting for?
Felix, I'm so sorry.
I
you
voted for
died.
Victoria just because that's the only
Okay.
name I heard.
Yeah.
Same. I'm just willing to go full chaos,
Oh,
really.
You can vote me
Sorry,
off. I guess
Victoria.
I'm done my tasks.
Me
I
too.
don't know.
Who hasn't
I'm
done
not
their
helping
tasks?
anymore.
I still don't know. Oh,
I guess we know Felix was having some trouble. Maybe that could hold us up, I
Oh.
guess, on the crewmate side.
That's injection.
Okay, Billy,
Yes.
you've worked in character design for both real-world characters and fictional, almost cartoon-like characters. Which one do you most, or which presents a bigger challenge?
Oh, that's fantastic. I think, I mean, really not to sound super lame, it's like both have unique challenges. The real characters.
¿qué está pasando aquí? ¿Qué está pasando?
The challenge is actually bringing the character through in a way that's not completely tied to the realistic portrayal, like the actual this person looks like someone else, or at least a little bit like that person, and making sure that the performance and the nuances of the performance come through. Whereas the challenge with the stylized characters really comes into like their movement and facial expressions and like everything that is like over the top and stylized,
Oh,
feeling unique. And like that coming through just as true. I'm really bad at multitasking.
Yeah, you having trouble murdering people?
He's
dead.
dead.
I'm having trouble answering questions and moving around and like everything.
Gotta get those ghost
Okay,
tasks.
I'm getting some from the chat.
wait, you? Where's David? Where
I'm
are
doing
you?
something with a purple diamond thingy.
I don't see you.
I see you.
Someone's gotta be
Hi.
dead. Someone has to be dead.
Somewhere.
We have been playing this one for a while.
Okay, so I have one for Kat.
Yes.
Oh
Gosh.
Okay, they want to know what games have you worked in and how did you get a chance to start working in audio for video games?
Okay.
That's from Joe Tapia from the chat.
Joe Tapia. I don't want to die, so I'm gonna run around so that Where are my friends? So actually, when I went to college, I was very much supposed to be your stand-up typical Asian is the best way I can word that.
I understand.
Yes. So originally I was going to school specifically to do pre-med. Oh no, the lights are gone.
It's cool. I got it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna hang out right in here. Guys, don't worry about me. And that was my journey. I was supposed to be a doctor. Didn't really have any thoughts outside of that because for a little background, I'm a first-gen American and I'm the oldest. So it's very much like this is your given task. I'm like, got it, done. But then in college, I realized like this is not what I want to do. So I switched my majors and I was going into psychology and child learning and development because I wanted to do research instead. And then I met my husband in college and he's like, yo, you want to make some music for my game? And I'm like, bitch, what? It's like, you know, because it's like, okay, yes, I play piano like most Asian people do. But playing music is so different than like composing music because when you do that, you're trying to pull all these random thoughts and merge them into something that makes sense. So I did it, and I was like, oh no, I love this. And then I ended up making some sounds for his games as well, and ended up really loving that. And then after college, I'm like, okay, I can either go and try and get my doctorate for psychology, or I can try and get to the game industry. And I went that route instead. And my first gig was as an intern for Gearbox. So I worked on Borderlands 1. And then I was super green, and I'm like, all right, I'm done here. I don't want to work on shooters for the rest of my life. And then I left and moved to Austin and kind of explored in that route too. I can't remember what the other question was, but I like
that was the question. That was the question. Yeah, thank you.
I like that I didn't die, so that's cool.
I have one for Alana from Lemoski. She's one of the biggest content creators in Panama. So
cool.
Yeah. Someday you'll meet him at an event. We'll go or something. He's really
great.
He says, if I don't remember... Okay, wait. Let me just translate in my head first.
I just
okay.
Get your task done. That's all I'm going to say. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. No. That's fine. You have spoken in the past of how single-player games were threatened by like Twitch, by streaming. What's your posture on that now?
So,
and especially knowing that you're now working on those.
I should say
things.
That was not my opinion. That was just I interviewed. I think it was 26 total developers. So definitely never an opinion I personally was expressing. I was just doing journalism. Ooh, somebody's dead. Reporting the information.
Oh
wow.
Okay, I just want to say that is absolutely not Alana because we've just been like following each other around the whole time.
Yeah, it's not Alana, and it's not Marlo.
I think it's Steffi. Yeah,
definitely.
I think it's Steffi.
I think that it is too because
you're dead.
I think that.
Oh, I can't talk. Yeah, and I don't know anything.
I think that is.
I didn't even see when they killed me. That's the worst part.
Like they would
look at her expression. Look at Steffi. Look at her. Look at her. She's so coy.
Every single time she would stop moving, and then something would get sabotaged. So I think that I'm very suspicious of Steffi.
Sabotage.
Look, okay, so it's up to me and you, Marlo, in that like if we're wrong, the game is thrown. So we have to pick correctly here.
I really think it's Steffi. I do.
I think so too, because like I was loafing in that room, and Marlo and Alana were there. I'm like, okay, you guys could have killed me. Peace out, Steffi.
But why is it not you though, Kat?
Oh, because I can't multitask.
Right, but you could have been standing there while in between, and that's why so few people have died.
Running around.
I could have, but. I could have also killed both you and Marlo right after I finished, and then that would have been a quick.
I have no
bam,
idea.
Bam.
I really have no idea.
I think I trust Kat. I don't know. I get vibes.
I love that.
I mean, look at Steffi has such a good jawbone that I would be suspicious of that.
lanzando.
Jealousy, that's all that is.
What are my vibes?
Okay, I'm gonna vote for Steffi, and I hope that it's right. It's just my gut feeling.
It's gotta be
Well,
right.
I don't have a say now because that's the majority. So I guess we'll see. I'm not sure. Who did you vote for, Steffi?
I'm voting no.
Steffi voted for me. What?
I really hope we're right. I think I don't know.
Yeah, it's gotta be Steffi.
It has to be.
Thank God.
Yeah! I knew it was you too.
Being, oh my god.
You were so
Trembling
scary,
so
Steffi. You were so scary. Because I saw you like popping in and out of rooms, and like where I'm right there, I'm like, ah.
I was done with Alana and Marlo being together. I'm like, I can't kill you both.
I know.
Yeah, that's the
doing
other
it
reason I
me.
was going to clear you, was that you were with us for so long, but to be fair, we were like chasing you around together. So.
Yeah.
I think I killed a hillbilly, and it was just like I killed him, and then everyone came down, and I screamed and panicked. Emergency.
Amazing.
I was just happy that Steffi hadn't killed me this time.
Right. And as ghosts, we were talking because Steffi killed me and Victoria killed you,
I've
and
killed
so
many
we
people
were
now.
chatting. So, but I kept just typing like every single. I was following Steffi around just to
Yes.
see who you'd kill, and you were very good at like not like just letting people exist near you long periods of time.
I
That was
love
a dangerous
killing you.
quality.
Because you
I mean,
came
that
for
all
me last
sounds-
time,
that all
and I was
sounds-
like,
that
I'm
all
gonna
sounds
kill
Serial
Felix.
killer.
I came for you, but I was right.
I looked you right
True.
into your eyes, and I killed you.
That is true. That is true.
I just want to
killer
remind
vibes.
everyone that when this ends, I still have to live with her.
Ooh, spooky. Watched a lot of
True.
Forensic Files. So if
I know,
he's
right?
taken out a life insurance on you,
Oh my gosh, I
buddy,
know.
I'll miss you, buddy.
It's always the life
Oh, man.
insurance
Wait,
policy.
don't tell her that.
You
She
know,
was looking to
my
buy clothes and
chat
stuff.
tells
gonna
me
get murdered.
I'm scary, and now I have to believe it because I just met you guys. Both of you.
I don't think you're
Terrifying.
scary.
I am scary.
No.
Okay,
Damn.
Steffi, dale play.
Dale play, okay. Dale play a la
Okay,
educación. Oigan,
Alana, you were
recuerden
saying.
donar.
Yes.
Yo no sé cómo vamos ahorita, no sé qué está
What,
pasando
please?
porque he sido impostor 2 veces, pero donen. O si no, Scary Steffi va a venir por ustedes. Very going to donating.
I think we can pull another one with 2 imposters. We did well the last
We
time.
did
Oh,
that because
Wait, no? Oh, yes. I would start. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yes, go
I
ahead,
didn't
go ahead.
say
I like to, because then you
That's
have
fine.
a buddy.
Yes. Because
Yeah,
when
that's
you're
true.
alone,
That's
it's
funny.
too much.
One time,
Abby,
Okay,
know,
so-
I was the
Murder buddy.
imposter. One time I was the imposter, and then like I lost immediately because they're like, "Cat, you
So,
suck."
you
I'm
know
like,
what? Now people are gonna get revenge. I'm scared now.
well, just don't be a bad guy. Duh.
It's that
yeah,
easy.
just don't murder.
Yeah, man.
Don't murder. It's that easy.
It's just fun.
Okay, I'm sorry, Alana. We interrupted your answer.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry,
So the question
sorry.
was about Dev saying that Twitch was hurting single player games. Yeah. So I interviewed, I think it was 26 different developers about that from a lot of different perspectives. Ultimately, the thesis is that your massive AAA games are not going to be hurt by this. It can hurt games and did provably hurt a game called That Dragon Cancer. Which was this really, really lovely indie game where a lot of people were doing Let's Plays and streams. That meant that people were less inclined to actually play the game themselves, and the studio noticed a decline in... Damn it.
Damn it.
2 people are dead.
Oh shit.
All right.
Oh, sorry.
What?
Oh wait, we
Alright.
can swear.
I can attest it was
okay.
not Alana. I watched Alana get body scanned. Like the body scanner went.
I
up.
watched it too.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say I just did the reactor with Alana,
Yeah.
Yep.
but it was right
Yeah.
outside the reactor,
Well, how
and
convenient.
Wait,
but it
what?
was right outside the reactor, and the only other person I saw was David, who was sorting rocks or something right next.
I
to
didn't
it,
even
that
see
rock
anyone
path.
walk
I
into
was-
the
I was
reactor.
sorting.
So where did you find the body? Outside
So the
reactor?
body was like right outside of the reactor, but it was like where the hallway opens up and kind of right outside the reactor.
Completely missed it. Does that mean that
And-
somebody killed someone while we were doing reactor?
I think so. And the only other person I saw was David, unless you can vent from there or something. I don't know.
I think there is a vent.
Can't.
I was doing rocks. That's all I was doing.
Let me see your faces.
First time I do rocks. I had no idea you had like bones and stuff.
You voted early. Why did you vote so early?
Yeah. You're very sure of yourself. Are you the imposter, Billy?
I'm gonna skip.
Billy,
But
why
Billy
did
wasn't
you vote
there.
early?
I don't
I
know.
always vote early.
Who did you vote for?
So who did you vote for?
Who did I vote for?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who did you vote for, bud?
And why?
I'm not telling. I
voted for Billy, so
I don't know. I'm pretty
this is
suspicious
a
of
strategy.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
suspicious
Billy,
of
100%.
David just because they were the only other person who was in that sort of area
That's
with us.
fair.
So
that is also fair, unless it was you and I completely missed it, Marlo. That's my concern.
but like we were right there.
It
is
Like,
true.
I don't know. It was like
9
literally
seconds.
right there.
David,
I'm not positive.
7, 6,
I'm gonna vote
4.
for Billy just because.
Wow.
Oh, wow, thanks.
Wow.
I mean, you didn't say, you know? It was pretty weird.
I don't know.
You kind of
Wait,
made
no, we
yourself.
It was a strange strat, Billy. I don't know what you want us to do.
I have no
Okay.
strategy. This just
Wait.
All right.
just that.
To continue answering the question.
We will
okay.
know. We will know if. Yeah. Okay. You were saying.
This makes this game so hard.
26.
Yeah, so this
devs.
is unlikely to actually have any influence on major AAA games. It provably has not. I mean, you know, Spider-Man PS4 sold incredibly well. Horizon Zero Dawn, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, all successfully selling games. But it can hurt very specific story-driven experiences. And again, this is coming from the perspective of devs. But the thing that I think is a little bit more concerning on a larger scale is that a lot of games are being made to tailor to Twitch streamers. To tailor to that audience, where basically you get recurring content out of the fact that different people are playing. It's the players making the content, not the developers. So a game like PUBG, the content comes from the different people doing different things every time, more so than it does from the game itself. Okay, we got out of that one.
Oh my god.
Wait, out of the question?
It's
No,
David.
the reactor meltdown.
What?
It's David.
Why
It's
would it
David.
be me?
Is it?
I was
David.
scanning myself. Did anybody saw me scanning myself? Just
No.
so we don't die.
And I was near the scanner when you were scanning yourself.
I was
I'm
scanning myself.
kidding. I don't know if it's David.
You were not near me. I was scanning
But
myself, and the
David
thing is,
was-
if you vote me out, it's like it's only 4 of us. We'll definitely.
But
There
David
can only
was
mathematically be
Billy
one
was.
imposter
near
left,
the other
right?
one.
We were right about one of
I
them.
mean, if we were right about one of them, yes, because we don't know.
I'm still very suspicious.
Wouldn't
of
we have
David.
lost
I
the
don't
game?
know.
I'm not sure.
If there was
No,
two,
the game
Yeah.
doesn't tell us if the imposter is out.
No, I just
Yeah,
mean,
but-
wouldn't we have
voted.
lost if there
People
were
left.
if it was 2v2? I'm not sure.
No, they voted. They. Oh, I don't know.
Who did you vote for, Marlo?
I voted for David because David was next to us when the
Ooh, it could be
first
Marlo
person died
too.
too.
I know it's. I actually don't think it's you this time, Steffi. I'm gonna go David,
There's
but
no
I'm
No,
way
not
yeah, I don't
confident.
think it's. I don't know if I don't think it's Steffi.
It could
gonna
be
Steffi seems
vote
too
for-
earnest this time.
Yeah, but she's always really pretty. It's cheating. I'd trust anything she says. It's not fair.
Thank you. And what?
No way.
I really hope this is right, Marlo. You've just pulled off something truly evil if we're wrong. You're gonna shatter me.
I wish that.
No, we don't know. Oh
No, we don't know. We don't know.
Wait.
we go.
What if it's Alana?
I've been
And your
cleared. I've been
brains-
cleared.
Brains. I know. I saw you scanning.
Okay.
And I'm gonna follow you.
Oh, no,
I don't
she
want to
was
die.
picking on the newcomer, though.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a question that's for all of you guys. Oh wait,
Whoa!
I'll do that after this.
Wait.
We're gonna get murdered and lose, or we vote someone out. Steffi, I'm pretty sure I trust you. We're voting out Marlo.
Yes, it's Marlo. Yes.
No,
I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
All I know
Yes.
is that Alana and I did the reactor together, so
Correct.
I don't think it's Alana.
Marlo,
Well,
don't
and
even try.
Steffi saw you
No.
scan.
No,
Okay,
I saw you.
I don't know.
I saw Alana scanning.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. I don't know. I'll vote for Steffi because
I see
I
you.
trust
We
Alana.
have to figure something
I
out
see
here.
you.
Well, then
Now
it's my choice, isn't
Alana.
it?
It's all Alana now.
Otherwise, it's just someone's gonna get murdered. Or I guess we
it's
could have done
on
our
your
task, but
shoulders.
it's ghosts are not doing their work where that's concerned.
You have a whole
I'm now
minute.
thinking we were wrong about David, is what I think has happened, which means I'm going Marlo.
Oh.
I think Marlo was the murderer there. I think David was incorrect and I got played.
I don't know how you I don't know how I would have been the murderer.
You did it, and I
though.
didn't see it, and then you walked out and you were like, oh no, Alana's gonna see this, so you went and did it while I was doing my task. That was really good, Marlo.
Killed the
Oh.
Wow.
The ghost.
I
I
don't
didn't
know.
expect that
We
from
were
you, Mo.
sure.
I
Like, from
legit. I killed the first person like right in front of David, and I don't know how you didn't see that. Like I don't know what happened.
I am so distracted.
I was
I'm
like,
so distracted.
Why is he just
I
standing
know.
there
I was like,
staring at my
oh
dead body?
shit, oh shit! I just killed someone right in front of David, and
And
then
I'm just
Oh,
laying
wow.
there like, hello.
We the ghosts were sure you were gonna win, Marlo.
I mean,
Yeah.
I have no defense. I have no.
No, I really like Marlo's strategy of just completely throwing me under the bus immediately.
Well, no, to be fair, you threw yourself under the bus. Were you the other
David
imposter,
under the
Billy?
bus.
She was even like that's what threw me off. She was like completely like just throwing me under the bus.
No, like
it was not.
Ghost chat was like,
me.
look at Marlo. Like she's just so good at this. I would have
All of
believed her.
you.
I would have believed
All of you. Ghost
Okay,
sure.
quick fire question for all of you guys.
Yeah.
Lord
Yeah.
Cheverongo from our chat asks, which would you say is your favorite game and why?
Deadly Premonition. It's the best video
Okay,
game ever made.
Okay, that's the premonition, Alana. Felix?
Of all time?
Yeah,
I'm
like
gonna
your
go-
favorite game. Your favorite game.
Yeah, that's really hard for me, but I'm gonna go with the one that is like currently in my head because it is it has when you play a game and you're like, no, this is the one, and then about like 8 months later you're like, okay, my favorite game is the one that I like, because Earthbound is always my original, is like my core answer, right? Earthbound. But having played Persona 5 Royal again, it might be one of the best games ever made. Like it is like it's up there in one of the best games ever made.
I
And
agree.
so right now that's my answer. But I think Earthbound is like the true in the core of me.
Billy?
Okay, of all time.
Yeah.
Any
Like your
platform,
favorite game.
any format.
Any platform, any game.
Yeah, it has to be Splatterhouse on the arcade. Like,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Interesting choice.
Yeah.
Vic?
Rick is my spirit animal.
Oh, this is so hard. Can everyone else go first?
Okay, Kat, let's go with Kat.
Capsule Force.
Shenmue.
Oh, that's a good
Solid
one.
answer.
Good.
Thank you.
Marlo?
My favorite
Same.
game of all time is Chrono Trigger for the Super Nintendo.
Nice.
Yeah.
I play that like yearly.
And Vic?
I still have a lot of This is so much pressure.
Pick your third favorite.
Estefi, faltas tú en el juego,
Yeah.
faltas tú en el juego.
Yeah. In your one in your top 5. That'll do.
Yeah.
'Cause you,
One in my top
Changes
five.
depending on your
Okay.
mood, It's all over the place.
I think for now I have to say Undertale, because when that game came out, it came at the perfect time that I needed it. For sure. Yeah.
Nice. Tefi, faltas tú.
¿Qué cosa?
Ah, no, falta alguien. Cancélalo. Ah, fuck. There's
¿puedo?
someone that's not inside this one.
Uh-oh.
Someone was left out.
Oh.
I didn't know.
Do we want to...
Should we start
I
over?
love Undertale
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, let's start over.
Let's start over. I think it's Billy. Billy's not in this one.
Wait.
I'm having to watch it.
Live game.
Okay, we need a new
Yeah, we
code.
won! Felix, we won!
I'll be there in just a second.
We did it. We nailed it. That was a toughie.
Okay.
That was like, yeah.
Let me I'm gonna leave you with one more question and I'll help Steffi setting up the next round.
Yeah, I'm gonna use the restroom really quick. I'll be right back.
I have
Yeah, go
like
ahead.
really dirty glasses. Like this game makes me sweat a little.
Ooh.
And that's like not good.
Okay,
It is.
this is a great question from the
Yes.
chat. It
Okay.
comes from Christian Rodriguez. He's asking, who do you guys think is going to win the Game Award for the best game of the year?
What are the nominees? Hold on. Stand by.
I
It's
know
Ghost
Hades
of
is-
Tsushima,
Look,
The
I
Last
can't
of Us,
say-
Part 2.
I think...
Yeah. If
yeah.
you
Last
can't
of
say,
Us-
don't say. Of course.
I think The Last of Us will probably win, but I think I would go Hades.
Yeah, I would want Hades to win personally.
I've been playing the crap out of Hades. Man, I love that game.
It's brilliant.
So good.
Oh my gosh.
So good.
Unpopular thought. I don't like award ceremony stuff because there's so many games that are not
it's true.
in the limelight that it's like.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I get that.
I think one thing they do really well is like a lot of people who, and it's easy to forget this when you work in the industry, a lot of people who are watching that show like will never have heard of Hades. So the fact that it's in that lineup is really like that's very cool. Like obviously Untitled Goose Game, the amount of awards that game won when it wasn't necessarily like that well known. Similar for Disco Elysium. There are definitely things like award shows can bring exposure to smaller titles for sure.
It's nice seeing that just in general, like the industry, like really raising up indie games and smaller titles that you normally don't hear about. You're right.
There are benefits, I think.
That's actually the thing that I like about Twitch streaming and game awards, especially right now. Like we're going all the way back to the top where we were talking about the impact that COVID and work from home and everything has had on games. I think there's a lot of these games that wouldn't have even had a chance if it hadn't have been for the situation that we're in right now.
Yeah.
So this is yet another reciprocal part of that. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, there are benefits. I do sort of think that like sometimes they can feel a little bit reductive and the juries are generally very like-minded people. I've been on the Game Awards jury the last 4 years. I'm not this year. But you know, I definitely like seeing like the amount of love that Disco Elysium got for being nominated for writing when a lot of people had never even heard of it is such a good example.
Steffi's playing Disco Elysium right now.
It's not right now, not right this instant.
Liar, fake gamer.
Multitasking, running the stream.
Okay,
doing
Felix.
This game is called Among Us.
Felix. Okay, Felix and Kat. We're waiting for you on the lobby.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
that's fine.
Oh wait,
it's the same code of the last time.
Now it's telling me I'm running an old version of the game. I was just
leave and come back. Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, I could have pulled something.
I'm just glad it's not me this time.
Sí.
Some of these
No,
tasks
we'll report
are
that
so
bug.
hard
Don't
on
worry.
trackpad.
I can't even imagine.
Wow.
Touch. That's why I use touch. That's why I use the iPad because I would not. There's so many of them, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do at all.
Okay, Vic, I have a question for you.
Hello.
I was reading one of your blogs where you speak about summing up your role as a character development for communities. What do you mean by that, and can you expand on that idea? Because I think it's amazing.
Sorry, as a what for communities?
Yeah, you said that you sum up your role as character development for communities.
Right, yes.
So what did you mean by that? And because I think it's a great concept, I just want you to go into that.
Thank you. Yeah, so what I mean by that is I think that no matter what game, like I think a lot of people think that if it's like a violent game, like there's no way you could have like a very healthy community that wants to help each other out or, like get along and all of that. But what a community manager or in my case, a community director should do, and I think like is our task, it's like to show everyone how they can interact with each other, how they can be.
Did you die? Somebody's dead. That's amazing. Oh wow! Wow.
Like, can we make a rule that if someone is answering a question,
no, I think it adds to it. I think it makes it better. That's so funny.
That's really rude. It is super rude.
You know that they're prey at that point, though.
Oh my gosh.
That was amazing.
Okay, I found Victoria. I was in the greenhouse growing plants, which is a thing apparently you can do with a touch. That's dope. So I came down and I went sort of it's a V from there, right? It kind of does like a V thing. So I went down on the left and found half of Victoria, as it were.
It was a cute half.
Could tell, which we all knew happened.
Okay, I can clear that Hillbilly, your boy Hillbilly, did not do this because he and I were in Reactor. And I think Marlo.
I was gonna say I saw Hillbilly coming out of Reactor, which is like so far away from there, so I would assume that it wasn't him. I was going up there. I was
Is
moving
the
towards
reactor
there.
the thing where you press a button? wait. It's like a long hole with like light.
Yeah, it's above that
it's
hole.
like to the left of that.
Okay. Okay, I was there too.
Okay. You were in Reactor?
Oh
my gosh.
Look, I swear it's not me.
Why are you voting so early every time?
I'm gonna skip. I have no clue.
Yeah, I don't know. I only saw the body, and I literally didn't see anybody like in that. I'm assuming they came up and went down because there was no one in the greenhouse. Oh, there was someone in the greenhouse with me.
Oh,
was
no.
it Victoria? Might have been Victoria.
Yeah.
No, I actually don't know. I actually don't.
Felix, are you reporting the body that you killed?
I'm gonna follow you.
Oh, a self-report. I mean, I could be. I'm not, but you know.
Can you self-report?
I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't know that until it took me like 5 games to realize you can self-report.
Wait, Hillbilly voted immediately and voted for someone.
But he did that last time, and he was the imposter last time.
But it's turning us all against you.
Is he just mean? Like, what?
I keep going in
just
here.
very judgmental.
Bone in my body.
No, this is not a way that can get up there. This is not the way.
Okay, sorry, Vic. You were saying.
Yes, sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Too busy dying.
This is like a challenge for you guys.
I know this is hard mode among us.
It really
intelligent
is.
answers while being murdered.
It's tough.
But yeah, no, I basically would sum up like the reason I say like you design the communities that you want is that you basically have this sort of influence and power over another dead body.
Oh man.
Okay, we're gonna wait.
So I found Cat.
Okay.
Right in front of like one of the YS thing that's in one of the hallway to the left, like next to Reactor.
I went up the hallway and I was sorting rocks next to the reactor, and I didn't see anybody the whole time.
The dead body.
Yeah, wait, where was the
body? It's me because I reported the dead body. Okay. Do you? I have a very important question that it will take up time. I'm sorry. Alana, do you have egg on your face? I like that. I like that a lot. I'm just going to start using that in the future. Yes, that's good. I like that.
Take it
good. Yeah, that's good. I like
interesting time-wasting tactic, Felix.
I'm sorry. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I need to ask about this, but I didn't want to interrupt the question while you were talking, so I apologize.
I don't know. I don't know who it is, but
Steffi is quieter than usual.
That is true.
It's first time she hasn't spoken like in 4 games?
Wow, David, remember that whole thing about how you still have to live with her?
You're dead.
Yeah, I have my daughter's not staying here, so I have a spare room. I'm good.
Is there a
I can still kill you from the spare room.
So I have not seen. I don't think I've seen Marlo once this entire game.
Yeah, I haven't seen Felix like at all either. So
I haven't seen you once, so I'm assuming. Okay, well, I don't actually know anything about venting, to be honest. So, but I don't know if you can see people when.
I'm trying to see if I can see your iPad reflection in your glasses, Felix.
No,
I'm like,
it is.
I don't know who it is. I don't either.
It's killing me, but I want to think it's Felix because.
Felix is acting very suspicious. But
I voted for Felix, but I am not confident.
Alana,
but I did vote
for Alana.
I voted Felix.
I'm not sorry.
Oh, I didn't even vote.
I didn't have to vote.
I didn't feel confident, but I did it.
Forgot to vote.
Bye, chef.
Okay.
I love you, Felix. I love you.
My
yes.
Lord.
What were we talking about? Oh yeah. Vic,
Right,
you were saying.
No, it's okay. Honestly, I don't even know if I can continue my answer. I don't even remember what I've said at this rate. But yeah, basically, you create the communities that you want. You get to influence them based on, I guess, the way you set the rules, the way you interact in them, and yeah, I think you can create better communities and help people understand how to talk online with each other.
Yeah, I think that applies for any type of community. You know what I mean? Especially nowadays.
Yeah, and it's so important because like you want to have a space in your games or in your communities that people feel safe and comfortable talking in and are held accountable for their actions.
Yep, definitely.
How do you balance making that feel genuine without it being too like force fed that like be nice to each other?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is that you never have to like overtly, I don't think like many of us have been in like actual like situations where someone has yelled like just be nice to each other, whatever. But what you can do is be kind of the role model for the kind of vibe and the sort of community that you want. So like when you are managing people, when you are creating these communities, it's like you get to be the person that they can look up to, and like whatever jokes you make, that they're automatically going to see that as being the most acceptable thing to do. So if you are the one making, I don't know, like really spicy jokes, and they're like, oh, okay, like that means I can say it too. So it's kind of just interacting with them in a way that you want them to reflect.
Dig it.
Oh, this movie was crazy. I've never even been in this
hard.
Vic, that was a great answer to a hard question while you're playing a game, which I
Yeah.
I know. I'm like, I hope this makes sense because I'm trying to do tasks and I'm like,
Vic confirmed.
Oh, it's a party.
Hey,
Hello.
Felix, how does a service like Felix? Are you listening to me?
Damn, yeah.
Okay. How does a service like Game Pass or any other paid subscription that comes our way will benefit indie game development?
I mean, listen, there's lots of different reasons to for devs to make games, and one of them is sustainability and the ability to like eat a meal and pay rent. And the Steffi's face is very shocked.
Is it you?
Yeah, but look at that jawbone.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's lots of you know, like we all want to make the dream project of our lives and make sure that we are oh dear sorry and things like Game Pass offer us a clear way to potentially make some of that runway back even before the game is out. Places like Microsoft have been doing an incredible job of partnering with indies in ways that are really, really beneficial to the indies and also mean that we're able to continue making games without worrying about whether the game sells really well or not, and that's awesome. So there are really big upsides. Also, I would argue, while it is really important that you make a buck on your game, we won! We
You're right about Felix. Didn't see David coming.
I was just saying that to the ghost, and I was like, the reason I was so shocked was I was trying to answer David earnestly, and he just murders me. And
I was like, so rude.
Straight up
so rude.
Oh dear.
Okay. One thing. I just killed someone. Like I was not looking at the name, and then I saw it was you, and I felt so bad, but then I felt good. So that's okay.
Yeah.
Or like
and you felt good too. Yeah. Then David and I were just running around together for a little while. And I was like, oh, we're fucking invincible now. And then you ejected me, which was fair. That was fair.
And I thought Marlo knew because you were following me downstairs, and I thought you were going to press the button because you saw me killing Alana, and then when you stood behind me, and I'm like, okay, I just have to wait for 10 seconds.
I followed both of you because I was like,
thought
oh,
it might have been Alana, but I wasn't sure enough, so I was following you.
I for a second thought it was Alana, and then she.
I completely.
I fixed the entirety of oxygen. Oxygen was depleting, and I fixed both of them. And I was like, "What are you all doing?"
All right.
Okay. Let me just say something to the chat. Gente, estamos a $65 de llegar a la meta. Okay.
Solamente 65.
Solo faltan $65. Falta muy poco. Son 10 donaciones de $6, ¿ok? O 20 donaciones de 3. Vamos, que sí se puede lograr y estamos a punto. I was just telling people that we're like $60 away from the goal. So,
do it!
Yeah.
Hang on, let me drop that.
Okay, Steffi, tíralo. Oh, no, we're waiting on Billy. Billy stood up.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to add to my answer, by the way, that while it is really important that, you were able to sort of pay your rent and eat a meal as an indie creator, especially, I think one of the most tragic things about releasing a game is not if you didn't make any money, but if no one played it. And what's so cool about subscription services right now, especially, I think I'm going to speak to Game Pass because it came up in the question, but like, I'm sure other ones work like this as well. It's so cool that people who would have never tried your game have the freedom to try your game, and the data is showing that it is not actually that it is cannibalizing or reducing sales in any way, but rather introducing your game, your genre, to someone who maybe never would touch it. And so that is super dope. Like when you get to see how many people have touched your game, especially ones that maybe don't typically play games like yours. As an indie, it's like it's pretty cool because you get to think like, oh, okay, maybe this person discovered something through my game or through my art that maybe they probably wouldn't have themselves and paid, if they're a paywall there. And so I think there's some really incredible long-term, hopefully long-term genre expanding like side effects of something like the subscription service. Of course, there's also the worry that like, people get used to only playing the games that are free to them, et cetera, et cetera. And that comes with a little bit of like, accessibility, et cetera, and opportunity that is, what am I?
Oh, we lost.
Oh my
lost
God.
Steffi.
No, but let's wait for Alana. Let's wait for Alana.
Everybody's staying right there. Don't leave.
Nobody moved from this.
I know. I was just gonna add to that, Felix. One of Rose City's games is on the Epic Store right now for free download, and it is actually so cool to see how many people who like hadn't heard about the game before are playing it. It's like absolutely bonkers. It's so much fun.
Yeah, Corey just messaged me with how cool it is as well as we were playing, which did distract me while I was imposter. So Corey is
thanks, Corey.
Part of the reason I was. So Corey is Marlo's coworker, and the reason I was so suspicious in the last round for sure.
Yeah.
But it's really neat to see. It is really neat to see, and I joke about money being the main motivator to make games, but people playing it and reach and just the idea that, because it sucks to make something and then know that no one had eyes on it. Like that's just so tragic. It really is a hard thing to stomach.
And it happens like a lot.
It does a lot. I mean, the majority of
come on.
Oh,
who sabotaged?
Alana's gonna come back and be dead just because.
All right. Well,
Wait,
I'm leaving.
We have to fix it.
Yes.
Okay, Billy. One question for you. Yeah, we can restart. We can restart.
Oh, good.
It was me. I'm so sorry. I thought we were gonna restart anyway.
I made a new room. There is a new password now. New code.
It's like, let's all wait here, and it's like,
I'm sorry. I needed to learn
para
how
que
to
no
do
vean el
that.
código, cambia al lobby.
There's a new room. Okay, I have to put it in a new room.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay, yo lo cambié.
Ah, okay.
I get it now.
Don't say it out loud, Kramer. Don't say it out loud, Kramer.
Hey, Billy, a question for you.
Yes.
When directing a cinematic for a video game, what do you take into consideration that differs from live-action cinematography?
Level design for the mission itself, and it's something that's kind of like, it's a really, I'll say, fun and challenging back and forth. Because there's definitely been times I know where we've set something out, we've gone down to LA with the actors on the stage, we've shot everything, we've started working through it, things start coming together, and guess what? The mission isn't testing very well, and they have to change the layout. We have to make some different decisions, and then we kind of have to MacGyver backwards and figure out how to do it, because I mean, I don't know. Other studios may just go and say, hey, let's reshoot. And for us, it's not as much of a consideration. So we have to kind of do some creative problem solving.
That's pretty cool.
That's so cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's also neat to hear that you take that into account, because I think it might be easy for some places to say these two things are completely separate and not take into account the fact that they're deeply linked, right?
Agree.
And so, that's really cool.
And you can definitely tell that by playing the game. Like the game is constantly being cinematographic.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's amazing.
It's one of the things that I think is a benefit of like, for us, even our trailers we make in house, but just even our cinematics department being in house and being so engaged, and we do a lot of animators on cinematics will do gameplay animation and vice versa, and everybody collaborates across a bunch of different disciplines at the studio, because we're kind of like a little big studio, and so it's great that everybody kind of has like this awareness, and then also we all understand that the game wins at the end of the day. And if things have to change, they have to change.
I have a question here from Raúl Muñoz, who says, for those of us who are starting to learn how to develop a game, we actually now have that career being taught here in Panama. What would you say, what I don't know how to translate this. Estefi, ¿cuál es el flujo de aprendizaje que recomiendan? O sea, this is very hard to translate.
¿Qué recomiendan?
Like what's the road to...
¿Cómo recomiendan ir?
Yeah, like what would any of you guys' advice would be of what to study and like what the career path should be to start and get a fit inside of the industry?
I have a quick answer.
Yeah.
Oh, do it.
You have so many things that you can pull outside of a given education route that can benefit your games. There's, like, for example, if we're just thinking about sound design, what I've learned in psychology is extremely important. What I've learned in history classes is extremely important. Art, anything that I absorb from watching film or listening to things on the radio. I think what people forget is that games are so much more than your education route. I've seen students come from specific game universities, and sometimes people assume that because I have received this education, I'm going to get a job and I'm an immediate shoo-in, and that's not the case. A lot of times, if you're only constrained to what you've learned within that box, you're limiting yourself to what kind of creativity you can really explore. So for me, the big thing that I tell students is to find other students and work on your own games together. Find game jams and be part of that, because there's so much you can learn from being in small groups and organizations and making games even in a very small time frame that you might not necessarily learn in school.
I want to answer this question too, but
I also do.
Let's vote first. Let's vote first. And then we all have
the body was in that the room with the computer in it when you just sort of go through the first hallway. I don't know what it's called.
Sure.
To the
yeah,
right.
I don't know what it's
Billy just does not last. Getting taken out right from the jump every round.
I don't know. I don't think that it's Victoria, because I think Victoria and I both had the diagnostics test task that took forever. Because we were both standing there for a long time.
I saw you and I just said, I'll go later.
I know Alana is not, or at least didn't kill Billy, because we were at the plants thing where the rocks are and stuff, I think.
I can confirm it was
But
not
I didn't see anyone
Alana,
else.
because I actually saw Alana being body scanned. So I think that's the number. That's the one visual one where you're for sure it's not. Yeah. So I can confirm.
Okay.
I can't multitask.
I'm gonna skip
¿Ven por qué no lo puse en el chat? ¿Ven por qué no lo puse en el chat? Ustedes no saben si alguien más sabe español. Ustedes no saben.
Yeah, I was talking with both hands.
Yeah, you were.
Sorry.
That's true, actually. You were.
Just multitasking, not my jam here.
I'm just gonna skip.
I think it's David.
Yeah, I skipped both.
David too.
I think it's David.
I suspect David as well.
Are we voting David? Is that what's happening?
No, I'm
No, what's the case? What's the case against me?
It's literally a matter of elimination for me.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Alana. I know it's not me. I don't think it's Victoria.
Felix, you were the only one that voted for me.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Here's what happened.
So sad.
I think it was.
I'm actually not interested in any of your reasons too.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
What is this?
Cafeteria.
Oh my god, why isn't the cafeteria linked to the med bay? This is infuriating.
I know, this map is a real mess.
Oh my god, this
it's
is
so
the
big.
longest. I have some opinions for the creators of this game.
Oh dear.
Hey, Marlon.
Yes.
How does someone start illustrating and doing concept art for video games? What's the route for that?
I think my answer kind of echoes at the end of what Kat was talking about, where I think for me, my path was really involved in finding a local community. So I started going to Portland Indie Game Squad events, which happen here.
Whoa, what?
I just straight up saw Steph kill someone. I saw the blood splatter.
Great.
Like, I'm so sorry. It's just Steffi.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
So anyway, now that we all know who.
You can
continue answering the question.
You have 30 seconds to answer.
Like peers to sort of like dip my toes into making games and to participating in game jams. I think if you can find a group of people that you can kind of like have a low stakes game making sort of situation with, that's so helpful. I started getting work based on stuff that I did in game jams and work that I shared from working on game jams, and it kind of snowballs into getting professional work as a freelancer and all of that kind of stuff. So I think that's the first step. And luckily, I know that Portland Indie Game Squad, we're doing everything online right now just because of COVID. So there's a lot of communities online that you can participate in and do jams with remotely, which is sort of what we're experiencing a lot of the time. And I think that that's a really good way to get started and at least get to know people, make a couple games, not have really high stakes for it, and then start getting your foot in the door.
I think especially for students, like it's super important to do that when, when you don't necessarily have a whole bunch of financial burdens, ideally.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish that was something that I had done more of when I was in school.
Back then, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question. I have a question for like our group. Has everybody did everybody complete university here?
I did. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. So I did not. I did not complete university, and but I did learn a lot in university that I use, and none of it was game related. And this is like a combination of both the answers that happened in the past two answers. For me, is that like I know very few people who can say their degree 100% equip them for games, but I know almost everybody who went to school, even for a short amount of time, even and like at all in life, like any job you've ever had, did teach them something about working with a team, which is 90% of game dev.
Yeah,
it's
100%.
It's working with a team and realizing how you work with a team. And Kat just reported somebody dead?
This is going to be spicy.
I don't know if this was already reported, but I just saw my fellow egg buddy Alana on the floor.
Oh no.
I'm in one of those like V hallways, the one that goes to the left.
To the cafeteria and stuff?
If you go,
I don't know.
I know greenhouse is up here. Greenhouse is at the top. Then there's that hallway that goes down, and then it goes to the V. Yeah, on the left fork. I don't even remember who we're suspicious of anymore.
Victoria, if you're talking, I can't hear you. At least I don't know if anybody else can hear.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that would explain it.
So we're only missing one more imposter. So we have to vote for someone.
I'm suspicious of both of you. I think it's David because he gets the excuse. Also because he murdered me in cold blood last time. But he gets the excuse of the question asking, so not having to say anything. And I'm inclined to trust Kat because I saw Kat not doing anything when she was answering a question. But I did the same thing because I can't.
I'm gonna vote for Vic because first she silenced herself.
I'm not.
So who knows what she was saying?
I'm gonna vote for David because, like, who kills people when they answer questions? Like, that's rude.
But that talks about my
for David.
Not about what I'm doing in this round.
I mean, if Victoria voted for you, then we're at least voting for one person for sure.
Good luck, y'all.
I hope that's right.
I'm pressing you, Victoria.
Or I will never trust Kat again.
Here's the thing. I accused David in round 1, and none of y'all believe me.
Oh, yes!
None of y'all believe me, but I was so right. I was the most right. So that's the lesson here.
I'm tired of being
the lesson is Felix is right.
I just want to say that I just felt bad about killing Alana because, like,
you should.
Because she was having such a fun time, like running around.
All the tasks were done, so killing me is fine. I don't have anything left to do. It's all right.
How good did it feel to kill me, the person that almost ejected you?
I'm good, Felix. Let's just go ahead to the next round.
Made you feel good, though, to kill me, right? Made you feel really good to kill me after I accused you. Yeah, that's nice.
It actually felt really good.
That's nice. That's nice. I felt it in
I'm
the
sorry,
animation.
Marlo. You were... Oh, no, you I think who was answering? I
was
forgot.
answering.
Felix
Yeah,
and
it's
Simon
fine.
were done. I was talking about how, because I didn't finish it.
Oh yeah.
And
We're
that
talking
is a
about
thing that definitely a lot of people told me if I didn't finish, it would be a really big problem for me. And
Yeah, no.
I would like to think that I'm very successful, and so while it doesn't necessarily open up doors, I'm not gonna say it opens doors for you to not finish school. Like, don't please stay in school if you're in school, if you're enjoying it and it works for you. But the point is that, like, I know a lot of people who can say their degree didn't equip them 100% for games, but what they did learn in games did equip them in some way. And what I was saying is that it's about group projects, or about management, or about
Time
anything
management
that
too.
teaches you how you work in a team, so that you can self-reflect on how you're integrating into a team and what that looks like and feels like for you. The better you can do that, even if you're not in management, the better you'll be able to manage up, because it's a big part of working in a team, is both managing up and managing laterally, right? So like learning what your team is like, and then learning what your boss is like, and how you can sort of combine all that. And that applies to indie, it applies to AAA, I think. I don't know, I'm not in AAA, but I would think it does. And it applies to solo dev as well. So even if you plan on making games by yourself, learning what that entails for you is super important. I think there's lots of ways to get there.
It's the same thing for like even jobs that are non-game related. There's so many soft skills that you are learning that apply so relevantly to being in the game industry. And I think that's what a lot of people don't really emphasize, like the soft skills that you're learning that really can help you succeed.
Retail taught me a lot about what
Hell yeah. Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah. I think so much of it is just like taking sucking as much as you can, like of the positive as you can from every like role you're in.
But learning what crunch feels like, because like retail crunches all the time in the worst way, and knowing how you react. And like and to feel that feeling coming on, so you can avoid it and maybe develop a nurturing environment where it's not always happening in your life, is like, to me, retail was a hard lesson learned, but it did equip me in a way that school just couldn't. So
I was going to say that for me, I went to art school, so my degree is kind of like a one-to-one for what I ended up doing in games. But I would say that the thing that actually equipped me the most for games was learning how to do critique. And how to do critique positively and take critique.
That's cool.
I think that giving constructive criticism and receiving it is like the most important skill in working in games, because you're working on a team, but you're also working on something that's creative. So everyone has creative stakes in it, and you have to like understand that like everyone has an ego, and at the same time you need to manage your own ego.
Who left first? That was wild.
Marla, like completely piggybacking off of yours, I think especially like, you know, as an artist and like for sound designers and a lot of creatives in the industry, we're always vulnerable.
Yeah, totally.
Because like our work is so subjective. Like at least with code, it's like, all right, it works, it doesn't work. Like with any kind of creative aspect, like you're always vulnerable, whether it be to your coworkers or your direct people within your discipline or the general public. And that is such a rough thing that I wish like I had learned that it's okay to fail. It's okay to fail. You should fail often. You should receive feedback. And it's not always like, you know, it's not a dig against you if someone doesn't like your work. Sometimes it's just not the right fit for that level or what a client's looking for. And I think that kind of stuff is super hard.
Yeah, that was one of the talks I gave at GDC. I think it was like 2016. Was, you know, the art of not giving a shit. Like, and not only, and it is. It's an art. It's hard for people to feel comfortable not being comfortable. And then more important, and I think what working in the retail space, whatever it is that helps you prepare to work in a group dynamic, it's also being a good teammate that allows everyone else to feel like it's okay if they fail. And that's where the greatest ideas come from. The greatest ideas. As a manager, like lots of times it's one of those things, the more that you can make it okay to fail, create a safe space for people to fail, that's where you're going to get the best ideas.
Also, you're dead.
Is screaming at me.
I know.
I have one complaint about this game.
I have no idea.
I was in the room we started in, Launchpad or something. There is one task in there that just slowly.
Yeah, you can walk away.
You can leave.
You can walk away from it.
I was wondering why you were standing there, Felix.
I like how Felix physically.
Yeah.
Yeah, walk away.
Okay, well, I have to feed my kitten because he's screaming at me. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Like how
I'm
she,
gonna
like, physically walked away.
unless anybody has any info, I have no clue who it is. So
Yeah,
like,
wait, Steffi called the.
Oh, where was it, Steffi?
I saw Billy and I want to say something. The chat, before we started, they were like, free Hillbilly! Let's go, Billy! Everybody in the chat was just like, hashtag
He did
Billy,
die
let's
immediately
go.
again.
No,
I feel
the
so
person
bad.
who murdered Billy right now.
It's gonna get it. We're gonna get it.
Yes.
It's rude.
And we
Listen,
should be being nice to Billy.
Are we? Do we?
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
skip.
Okay, I'll see.
I skip.
I didn't realize you can walk away from
I
that
don't know,
task,
but
and I literally
I
saw
saw that.
nothing. I haven't left the friggin' room, so
I mean, Felix, I
Okay.
walked
Yeah.
there, saw you
Gente-
standing there, and was
gente
like,
en el chat.
I should get out of
I
here.
appreciate that.
that's
And
why.
Yeah.
I like your
No.
hat, Billy. Does that?
Yes,
Does that?
it's a good hat, Billy.
Yeah, it's pretty
Um,
cool.
Esta es la
But
última.
actually, too.
This is the last round.
Yeah, this
I
is the
think.
last round.
Okay.
Yeah, I
It's
think
the
we don't
last
have more
Victim
time for
hat,
more.
that's what it is. It's the victim
Yeah.
hat.
That's it. Only
Chat,
other
recuerden
person-
que esta es la última ronda, o sea que si quieren mandar alguna pregunta para alguien en el panel, recuerden que
Oh
la
my
pueden
God.
mandar a el Instagram del David Steffi Show para leerlas. Okay, one question for the group. What do you think is the biggest misconception about working in the games industry?
Oof, so
that
many.
it's easy.
Mm,
It's not easy. Yeah, I think that I think also just like getting used to not worrying about making your magnum opus the first time. Like I think it's like you have to think about it in terms of a marathon and you're going to be working on multiple projects, and I think that a lot of people get caught up in like making the game, but you got to work up to it.
I think
David's dead in the cafeteria.
Damn it. I don't know. I was going to the reactor and I didn't see anybody else there when I got there. So
No, I was going to the reactor as well.
That.
So
I'm
Wait,
so-
so wait, Alana called it?
Yeah,
Oh,
David's
so-
dead in cafeteria.
I haven't been
Oh.
paying attention.
That's all I have. That's all I have. That's it.
So David killed himself because he was answering a question.
I'm really nervous because I don't know if we haven't kicked anyone off yet, so I think we need to vote for someone.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't think
so I'm
it's
gonna.
I don't think it's Felix because they were caught up with the dumb task.
That I honestly, I've never felt
It's
more
not
in my
Felix.
life. That was ridiculous. And
The only person that I was even suspicious of was Felix, but I'm willing to give them benefit of the doubt.
I'm suspicious between Alana and Victoria
Okay.
because
I
I don't
voted
think it was
Marlo.
Felix and I. Oh, excuse me.
I did. You're taking too much charge. I voted for you. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I did. I just
No,
did it.
I
I
think
just
it's
did
I'm
it.
gonna vote for Victoria.
Wait,
'cause
right?
she's
Why,
quiet.
Felix? You've been right before, so I would like to hear this logic.
Cat for sure.
Yeah, Marlo's taking up. It's sucking the air out of the room and taking charge
Because
in a
we're
way
all
that they're.
sitting here and there's
Okay,
You're
fine.
very good at it. You're extremely
Marlo's
good
good
at
at
it
the
when
game.
you're the imposter.
It's true.
Oh my
we saw her.
God,
You're so
guys.
incredibly gracious. You're very gracious, and so you tend to give the
It's true.
floor to people, and then when you're the
All I'm saying is I trust
imposter, you
Felix.
take a
That's
spot.
all I
I'm
have to
getting
go by there.
nervous because
And we
it
win.
wasn't me.
Damn it!
Oye,
Yeah.
tenemos 3,370.
No.
Solo faltan
Wrong.
Marlo, you're just too lovely.
$30. Tuve que ver videos.
That's what happened. You're just
Okay.
too effing nice.
And then we
How are we doing on donations?
It's, yeah.
I'm about to say that, but wait.
Exciting.
Let me just do one thing. Let me
Okay.
just do one thing first. Steffi, pásalo a lobby, because I think we're done with the game. So let's
Yes.
just go back to the other setup so we can chat for a couple of minutes, if that's okay. Because
I want to
before we announce what's the amount right now, I just had two last questions that I have from the chat. One is, have any of you guys had to crunch a game?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've not had to crunch a game, but I can tell you I crunched constantly in games media. When you get
I
to
would say that my crunch was self-imposed. It was while I was doing freelance, so I was doing side projects while I was working full time on a game, and I would not recommend it. it really burns you out, and then you spend way more time recovering than you would have made up from crunching. So
And your output
avoid
is
at all costs.
I crunch a lot, and it bites. And I'm also a stress eater, and I'm a recreational eater. And yeah, so I gain weight. Like, I'm short too, so it's like there's always so many places fat can go. So you can usually tell like when I've been in hardcore crunch mode. Like in the past couple of years, I've like easily gained 30 pounds to where my doctor was like, "Is it possible you're pregnant?" I'm like, "I'm sorry. Is it possible I've just been eating too much?" It's like
doctor.
That's brutal.
I really like her. She's my primary care doctor, but I was just like, "Oh, bitch."
Yes.
Yeah, it's difficult because like I've been at some in-house studios where like I've had to crunch like for months, and I'll work like 18 to 22 hours on a game that I don't really feel so strongly about, but you're in there because all of your other team members are working their hardest, and it comes out, it's not rated well, and then people review it and say like, "Oh, the devs are so lazy." It's like, no, man, we're working hard. And I think what people forget is that sometimes it's out of the devs' control about what happens in a certain game. Sometimes it's a publisher that has certain things that they want you to change in a game, or sometimes it's budgetary constraints. And there's so many factors that come into play. So it makes me really sad to see fans sending hate mail to people and harassing devs and their families. Like, that is just so like, why friends? Like, I feel like I'm like an old fart now. Like, and it makes me sad to think that I'm from a generation where if you didn't like something, you just left it and you move on. And now we have people that spend so much of their time writing novellas about how much they hate something and how much they don't like these devs or a studio, or why they're upset that something's delayed. And it's just so disheartening as a creative to see that kind of hate.
And I think like that's interesting because it goes into the in my field of work. I think like for a lot of community managers, a lot of social media managers, we get into a self-imposed crunch, as like some of us were talking about. But like when you have all these people throwing hate at the devs that you care for, but you also are part of the community and you always communicate with them, it's like it feels like you can never turn off. And it feels like if you don't reply to their massive amounts of tweets and every single one of them, then suddenly like you become the bad guy, and like you don't want that feeling. And because community managers have to like kind of have that in between space between developers and their fans,
you're the
that
first
it's like
line of defense. Like,
and it feels so it's like I wasn't never forced to crunch, and I was very encouraged, and I was very lucky to be encouraged to like take breaks and like don't worry about it. But it's like it's so hard because games are something that you get into because you're passionate about. It's your hobby and it's your job. And I think a lot of people end up crunching themselves because they're like, but I love this game and I want it to succeed and I want people to enjoy the game. I don't want them to hate it. So I think
you have to love yourself more than your games sometimes, though. Like that's the ticket.
Like, that's the rough thing though, because like if your coworkers are crunching, it's like sometimes you have a lot of sympathetic crunch too.
Yeah, that's like that can fall into a larger conversation of like workplace culture can definitely impose crunch a lot of the times, and that can feel out of your control, depending on like where you work and everything like that. But if it is within your power at all to avoid it, or like put yourselves in situations where you can avoid it completely, like you absolutely have to do it, because it is a marathon. Like you're not just working on one game and once it's out the door, you're never working again. Like you're going to move on to another project because you have to keep doing that. So you don't want to, burn the candle at both ends, so you can't work on the game that comes after the one you're on right now.
Ideally, you'll have like someone within leadership that you can talk to and can bring up like, hey, if I'm feeling burnt out, I need help to get this kind of sorted out. And ideally, if leadership is correct and if management can move things around properly, we can mitigate that. And that's the ideal scenario. It's really sad because like I've been at in-house studios, and to clarify, like right now I'm doing a lot of freelance work, but I've been at in-house studios where I've seen marriages fall apart and kids,
missing their parents and spouses not believing that their other spouse is actually working at said hour. It's like, it's so sad. And, you know, like you're saying, we're just passionate about what we need to do to make this game successful and to help our coworkers succeed in what they're working on too. And like I wish all fans could see that too, but I mean that's not, they don't have to. Like it's not their responsibility to be like, how many teardrops has Felix cried over this? Like, but it's still, I wish fans respected devs as much as we respect our fans and our games that we work on.
That's a great sentiment.
Yeah, really hard thing to watch about crunch. It's like watching people attack developers for something that, in theory, in a lot of cases is coming from leadership, but also, you know, I've known people who've been so disheartened by attacks from the community when it has come out that their studios are crunching that they feel like all of that hard work is like down the drain, and they're like, I actually wanted to do this, which is not something a culture should promote. You should stop your employees from crunching, but it's very rough to watch the response to crunch being like, screw your game and screw your studio, rather than like, I hope you're all okay. I'm sorry that you're having to go through this. The lack of support is just, it's very hard for me to rationalize. It's really brutal.
I think a lot
crunch
of
is
that
still
comes
bad.
from the and I think a lot of it comes from a misunderstanding of what game development really is. And game development at the end of the day is a series of decisions that were made by very few people over the span of many years. And I think that you know, if you make a decision 4 years ago that causes crunch today, it's not like you made the decision thinking, fuck my employees or fuck my team or like, screw everybody I work with, I'm going to make this choice and it's going to result in them. You know, a lot of the time crunch is due to a series of decisions that were made over a long period of time that felt like the right decision in the moment and turned out to be actually pretty tough long term, you know. And I think that's not to excuse like management or culture that encourages crunch. It's just to say that games are a long process and they're a very complicated process, and you're making decisions in the moment with the most material you have in the moment, and a lot of the times that leads to some pretty tricky scenarios overall. And it's not that, you know, everybody meant to be where we are today if we're crunching. It just means that a lot of game players don't understand the game development process and not being able to, and I get why, because like you can't explain our jobs. If we could just, anybody could do them, right? Like it's like really hard to explain every facet of game development in the moment, but it is so tough to see people jump to that before giving the benefit of the doubt in the moment to a large group of people that are doing the best they can with the resources they have in the moment.
Yeah, I'd say that like scoping games is the most impossible thing ever. Like understanding how long it takes to make a video game, no matter how many games you make, is actually impossible. It's like you're throwing darts in the dark into another room through two closed doors. Like it's like
and
it's
David's asking you questions at the same time.
Everything's gonna take
imposters everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And Stephanie's like jawbone is floating in your mind.
It's such a good analogy for like how you see your tasks in Among Us, and you're like, that won't take me too long, and then it takes you triple the amount of time you think it's going to take you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that can result in crunch a lot of the times too, where you think like, oh, I'm going to get this done in 2 years, and then you realize you actually are making a 3-year-long game, and then you've committed to a timeline and a budget of 2 years. So games are a lot about compromise. I think it's like starting with the pie in the sky and then working your way back a lot of the times is what it feels like. So yeah.
That's why I think it's so important to at least have a safe environment for everyone. Because then when you do it with love and when you're comfortable with it, then, you know, the process feels better.
Yeah, and you were able to have that conversation earlier, right? It's not just about like there being love. It's about the space to be able to bring it up earlier and to be able to say, I think maybe we're in over our heads, right? That space is so rare. And I think it's something that when you find it in a studio, you're doing really good. So sorry, I interrupted you. I apologize. Billy.
Oh no, I mean, that's one of the main things where it's like you put a lot of effort into hiring people. Lots of times one of the things you talk about is what is the culture of the studio itself, and you have to have that knowledge. You have to understand what that is, and you hire into that. You hire people into it that you know are on this journey with you, that you can build this level of trust and respect that helps. It helps ease the burden. I mean, because it's a creative process. I mean, what we make it's commercial art at the end of the day, but it's still art and it's a creative thing. And if you really care about making a game that people will love and that you love yourself, you test a lot. And like testing, you discover so many things. Like you can work in games forever and then find out that, like Felix was saying, a decision you made 2 years earlier is something that's just not resonating. And so then you're kind of like, well, what do you do? Do you keep pushing forward in a direction that may not be the best direction? Or do you shift direction and rely
costing
on
time and money?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Costing time and money, yeah.
And then rely on the passion of the people that you trust and respect that you work with to actually pull through and get it done. Like anybody that goes about the process of trying to make a game in this, utopian sort of like setup, it's really hard. And I'm not saying it hasn't happened before. But I've never experienced it myself. But at the end of the day, if you can ship a game and you can look around at everybody at the finish line and you can kind of like say, okay, we did this and we did it with the game in mind and the best interest of everybody that I'm around because I trust and respect these people, that's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
Miracle.
Yeah,
They're all miracles. It's true. It's just every single one's a miracle. You have to think of it that way too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so then to close this panel up, I just want you guys in as little words as you can, just tell me, why do you love video games? Alana, you can start.
Oh boy, why do I love video games? I've played games since, for as long as I can remember, and there are a million reasons, but the shortest one for me is that I'm someone who has a series of chronic illnesses. I had really bad asthma when I was a kid and had to go to hospital. That's become more manageable in later life, but not by that much. And I feel like what I was doing when I was unwell or, couldn't necessarily be outside and go running around with the other kids was playing video games and having these experiences that were full of color and life and laughter and very fun, that I feel like I would have been a different person if I didn't have A, that level of escapism, or B, that kind of like rewarding interaction where I felt like I was accomplishing things all the time. So I just feel like for, the kind of person that I am who like a chronic illness I deal with can leave me in bed for, days on end sometimes, and playing video games like The Witness or Braid, anything that's like challenging me mentally can really help my mental health. So I feel like, there are a million reasons I love video games, but to talk about the most personal ones, it's the sense of accomplishment, the challenges, and the, I guess also storytelling, of course, and just rich, vibrant worlds that I could get lost in when I can't really get lost in the real world.
That's so cool.
I just want to say I love The Witness.
Oh.
The Witness helped me a lot when I had
Thank
pneumonia
you.
the first time. Like I thank that game for getting me through pneumonia. It was the best. So tough but so rewarding when I was just like on codeine for 2 weeks. It was great.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about like Steffi's experience with the game, but I know like she suffers from like anxiety, and like those types of games like have helped her a lot through several episodes. So yeah. Felix.
Yeah, I mean, I love how flexible games are in experience, accessibility, and storytelling. I think that flexibility is like the most. I have a really tough time with. I used to be a voracious reader as a kid, and then somewhere along the line, the way that ADHD developed and my anxiety developed over time as an adult, part of my coping mechanism is not engaging with things that take up a lot of my attention in a moment. And video games have brought me back from that in a lot of ways. They sort of like taught me like it's okay to engage with something in the way that you want to, and there's probably some form of that thing out there for you. You just have to go dig for it. And there's so many different types of video game, and they're so flexible in how they present themselves to you that I think it's really tough to find maybe every TV show you like, or every movie that it resonates with you, or right. But like, because you are invested in a video game and the fact that it gives back to you in the same way that you give to it, where I find that other medias don't, the fact that I can still play a game for more than 10 minutes, but I can't read a book for more than 30 seconds is really heartening to me. It means that maybe there's a path back to like this sort of place where I can find calm and resonance and interest. And I think that as an adult, when you suffer, it's a little different than when you're a kid. And a lot of us grew up playing video games as a cool thing, and a lot of us now use video games as a coping mechanism. And I think that is so dope. That is like the coolest shit. And it's something that I don't hear in other mediums as much, but I think I hear it all the time in video games. Like video games are coping or escapism or some form of healing, right? And I don't know if I can be part of that in any way. I'm hoping to someday, like I'm hoping to be able to say like I partook in some healing process for myself or someone else. And I think video games are different in that way. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Marlo.
Yeah, I think I absolutely echo the feeling of them as coping mechanisms and being able to get lost in games. I think for me as an artist who likes to, focus on world building and telling stories, I think the attraction for video games is that they're an active media versus a passive media. So by being able to actually have players engage with the stories that you're telling, it makes them way more potent and it makes it, more engaging. And I think that it's a really powerful tool to tell positive stories and have people engage with positive stories and feel like they're part of positive stories. So that's what really inspires me about them. I think also just like as someone who grew up playing them and being inspired by them, I'm so excited at the possibility that something I make inspires a kid to get into being creative or making games themselves. I think that's the biggest draw for me personally.
Victoria?
Yeah, I think this is based on, my job being a community director is that why I love games so much is that I find them to be one of the best mediums for actual connection online. I think we mistake a lot of the time that, because we can tweet at someone or because I have 1,000 Facebook friends that I'm connected with them, but that's not true, right? It's the moments of Alana being like, I love The Witness, and Steffi also being like, I love The Witness. And then there's a connection there. And then you can kind of build a relationship, or seeing chat, sending all the hearts to Steffi or rooting for Billy. I love the way that games create moments where people from different cultures, from globally, can come together and actually genuinely have fun with each other and kind of get on a level where they can start interacting and talking and understanding each other more and connecting in a way that I think I haven't seen any other medium really do as well as games.
Kat.
Keep forgetting my mic is on. I'm sorry.
I think a lot of my answer mirrors answers that have already been said. I read a whole bunch as a kid. I was very much a lonely kid. I had a lot of restrictions about if I was able to go out and hang out with friends, even as I got older and whatnot. So reading and playing video games was my escape, and playing video games was great because I'm the person that talks to every damn NPC. I want to know their story. Tell me what you had for breakfast. Tell me your whole dialogue tree. Those were my friends. I loved playing Chrono Cross. I know people hate it because there's so many different routes and so many different characters, but I loved it because I could go and make a whole bunch of friends. And it's same with what Victoria was saying with connection. I haven't seen Felix in quite a while, and when we started playing Animal Crossing, and I noticed that their gate was open, and I went and visited, I came in with my little ocarina and played creepy music while Felix was just laying in bed, and it was
Kat sang me to sleep twice.
It was the best, and it's
it was lovely.
I felt so connected in a different sense that you kind of don't have in other medias, and very similar to the other stories. I have chronic depression and anxiety, and playing video games is such a great way to have an active way to keep your mind busy, and be hitting minor goals, really tiny goals, like in Animal Crossing, or if you like playing Fire Emblem, and decide that you're not going to have anyone in your crew die and you have to redo your battle so many times. Like, it's such a great way to keep your mind occupied and still at the same time feel like you're engaged with the world, and helping out your friends. Like Dorothea, that's my gal. So I don't know. I love games. I'm so thankful to be a part of it. I'm so glad that I kind of fell into the realm that I was not expecting. Like, sure, I could have been like an Asian doctor, wow, but would I have purple hair? Like, no. And honestly, I would never have explored creative routes. And I'm so thankful for this industry in being a place where I can make light bulbs and have those light bulbs have sounds of tigers mixed in with a slight fart element to give it texture, and it's acceptable because no one knows. I don't know. I love this community, and I hope that our community can continue to grow and be open to each other, and also understand that we're all students. Like, there's so much we can learn from people coming right out of school, so much we can learn from those many years ahead of us. And, once we stop looking at ourselves as a student, that's when we're really falling behind, and we're damaging not only ourselves, but our community at large.
Wow. So many
Catbox.com.
That was so good. Billy.
That was amazing. Are we done?
Yeah, follow that.
I feel like the short answer that I also want to add is just video games are really fun and cool. So there's that too.
They really are.
No,
like, I was gonna make a game with geese. Like, wow.
Yeah.
What a great time.
Yeah. No, I just love the fact that we had the usage of fart and texture in like the same sentence, and it made sense to everybody.
Yes.
That's sitting here.
You got juicy fart, you got dry fart, you got airy fart. Like, they're all different textures. All great.
I just want to say something. We haven't had one stream in our channel since we started where we haven't talked about farting.
I did it. I helped you. You're welcome.
There you go. Ding ding. Or poop. There you go.
Yep, or poop. Yep. Okay, Billy, you were saying.
No poop.
No, so I got into games because of escapism, right? Like, I grew up in an era where the way that you could escape was through movies, and then ColecoVision came along. I'm totally dating myself, but I'm playing something where I'm interacting with it, and I mean, freaking Pitfall Harry, he's just some pixels, but like. I'm like, oh, that's Indiana Jones. I'm coming and instead of having to play with action figures and make up my own stories, of how Boba Fett falls into the Sarlacc pit, and I didn't want him to fall in the Sarlacc pit, so in my version, he doesn't fall in the Sarlacc pit because I'm Boba Fett and I dodged Han Solo.
If only George Lucas had done that too.
Sorry. But the great thing about it is there's this escapism, but there's also interactivity. And then, as a kid, the more and more I would play games, I kept on feeling like this is going to go so much further. Like I loved movies growing up, and I loved reading books, and all these are mediums where people are entertained, but this has this level of immersion and agency that is, at the time, for me, it was untapped. And so the idea that you could go and do something and create something where everybody comes out with a different view of what the experience was that they had, and they're the person that made it happen. But then, seeing Steffi, cry when talking about Witness, like that's the amazing part about what it is that we do. We can make people laugh. We can make people throw a controller and break it.
Oh my God, Katamari.
We can help people through divorces. It's this amazing opportunity that I wish I could say when I went into it, I knew that this is where it was going to go. I just knew that it was going to go somewhere different than what I had already experienced. And, and also get to work with all the people that I get to work with, because everybody's so passionate about this for a lot of the same reasons. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Steffi, what do you love video games?
Oh my God. Well, everything they said. I don't think I'm gonna give such a good answer in English, but basically, oh my god, I've cried so much. I'm just very happy. I'm just very happy right now. My chat is used to it. I'm just a crier whenever I feel something very strongly. I cry, and I'm very happy and grateful right now. Um, could you answer the question first? Thank you. I'm still
Yes.
crying.
The thing is, you made me cry, so now we're both crying. Okay, I'm gonna take my answer to say, I love video games because most of my dearest friendships have come from experiences on a video game. Basically, most of what you guys have said, the idea of community that a game creates, either playing with somebody or talking about the game with somebody. And I truly believe, even though we've actually talked about some of the misfortunes of the community, I do think the video game community as a whole is very inclusive and tries to mend people. I mean, I think we've had a great community. We even have like a channel in our Discord where people just go and vent. And that's all on video games. That's all on the love that we all have for them. So I truly want to thank all of you for creating experiences where we actually can grow as a community and as people and everything. And the second reason and this is where I'm going to cry, is because we made this event around video games. And our goal was to get to 3,500, and we reached almost $150 over our goal.
Awesome.
So thank you. And truly thank you for your time. I mean,
of course. You guys are so sweet.
I clap in Spanish.
I know you haven't been able to over. I know you haven't had the chance to read over the chat, but basically the last 15 minutes have been like everyone in the chat just thanking you for your time, saying what a great opportunity this was, what a great closure to this whole event it was. We've been working on this for months. This is the biggest thing we've done, and having you guys just was like the cherry on top.
Of course.
And we had an original goal like of 2,500, so to be like almost 1,000 and pennies over it, it's like amazing.
Congratulations, you guys.
So yeah, I won't speak anymore because then I'm gonna be like really crying. So I'm just gonna throw the ball to Steffi that's already crying.
It'll be a cry stream.
Oh my god.
I'm already tearing up.
I'm
trying not to
cry
talk.
What
so
are
much.
these feelings?
Yes. I used to be ashamed of crying. Now I just do it. Anywhere, everywhere, all the time.
Good for you.
It's an important physical reaction. You have to let those out. You gotta let those tears out. Holding them in is not good for you. Come on,
Yes.
everybody
Come
cry.
on. It's just like peeing. You gotta pee or you're gonna die. Like, there you go. Important answers. By Katlinski.
Yes, the pee and the farting.
Who is snorting at me? Is it you, Felix?
Yeah, it is Felix. It is Felix.
Oh my god. Tengo que hablar yo.
Sí,
Tengo
corazón.
que hablar.
Te
¿Qué
toca.
tengo que decir?
¿Por qué amas los videojuegos?
This is such a wholesome stream.
Yeah, it is.
I like this.
Well, for me, I think it was the same. I think that's why I cried, and I think that's why I felt so happy, because I just felt connected with all of you in some way. I just love that I can escape for a moment and just be there and enjoy it. And I love the indie industry because it has given me so many moments that I can relate to. That I just love just going online and just searching through, see what design I like on the logo or whatever, and I just try it. I don't care if it's free or it costs $1.99 or $50. I just try it because I think it can resound with me. And people in Panama didn't used to know indies that much, and now they're open to it, and now just people are seeing I think they're seeing themselves on video games now. I don't know, and it just creates special moments. I know what I wanted to say. I've been trying to remember. The other day I wasn't feeling very good. I was having a lot of anxiety because of something, and I opened Kind Words. I have it right there, and I wrote on Kind Words. And then the responses I got, they got me so happy and emotional, and just things like that. I think just having that moment where you're yourself and it's okay.
It's so cool to see that indie as an industry opened up the idea of games being really small in addition to being really, really big, because I think it gives us moments that we can engage with versus 150 hours that we, you know what I mean? Like, I think that although big games have those moments, it's so cool that even Among Us, right? We played it tonight, and how many sessions did we play? And the longest session was 10 minutes or whatever it was, although it felt like forever because the stuff he kept killing us all. And it was like forever. But the point is, like, it's so cool to see that we're able to have to turn to a whole medium for the tiny moments as well as the big sweeping narrative, like giant, huge moments, right? Like we can get those little tiny moments out of it too. And I think, I don't know, that's what I meant by flexibility. Like I think that we all are able to see that, and that's super dope. That's new and it's dope.
It's dope. For sure. Games are dope.
I was supposed to be on another stream 29 minutes ago at 6, but I didn't want to cut any of this off.
Love us.
So thank you guys, but I do have to run so I don't let the other people waiting for me down.
Yeah, we'll close the stream right away too. So Alana, thank you for your time. Thank you for everything.
Guys.
Thank all of you guys.
We're
gonna close stream. Gente, muchísimas gracias por todo lo que han hecho. No se vayan porque vamos a cambiar el stream un momentito porque tenemos que hacer un par de anuncios, pero quería así despedirme de ellos. Thank you Alana, thank you Felix, thank you Billy, thank you Kat, thank you Vic, thank you Marlo. Hope to see you guys in person eventually in an event or something and have a drink or have something, and really appreciate you guys and your time.
Of course, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Play games.
I have to run.
Anytime.
Everyone.
Play video games.
Okay, I'm streaming Project Winter now, everyone. I may not do it with my webcam, so they don't have to worry about it. I gotta eat real quick, and then we gotta play Project Winter, so good.